Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here today to discuss the impacts from the worst mass migration crisis ever to have stricken the United States at the southern border. This is a single ongoing event with a traceable start date, smashing every record on government books for 30 months straight. Biden administration policies have allowed at least 4 million foreign nationals, including 1.7 million undetected gotaways, to illegally enter and stay in the United States. Those millions of needy, uninsured, illegal immigrants are having transformative impacts on American civil society in several ways that we'll hear about soon. But one impact that millions of Americans can feel right away is rarely addressed, and I want to address that here. That is that Biden's border crisis, what Biden's border crisis is doing to America's public school districts. To degrees that may vary from place to place, this will manifest as acute space shortages and classroom overcrowding, successive tax hiking bond elections to purchase portable classrooms and build new schools, hiring binges for more administrators, janitors, security officers, school cafeteria workers, and English as second language teachers, language barriers where students who can't read or write but must mix in anyway and take standardized tests, declining academic performance, and new social problems like gang formation and behavioral difficulties. A main feature of the border crisis, the Biden border crisis, and also of the much smaller, earlier Trump swell in late 2018 and 2019 is that it is more child-centric than any before. Immigrants and family groups began to really pour over the border after the world discovered a certain legal loophole called the Flores Settlement that got them out of detention and deportation and released into America in under 21 days to pursue asylum claim for years. Another discovered loophole, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, let non-Mexican unaccompanied minors go free within 3 days. This sparked rushes on the border of unaccompanied minors. Whether in families or alone and unaccompanied, school-aged children poured in until President Trump started expelling them under Remain in Mexico and then Title 42. That's the pandemic and instant expulsion policy added in March 2020. But then the Biden administration reopened the spigot by creating exemptions in Title 42 for most families, all unaccompanied minors, and many pregnant and postpartum women. That set the rush off again into our country of children. The public is never told how many school-age children got through these policy openings, but I estimate that it is probably as high or higher than 1.2 million. No one really knows, but it's not going away anytime soon. What we know is that school districts across America had to enroll them under a 1982 Supreme Court ruling regardless of immigration status, numbers, costs, or hardships. So to find out what that might look like, last year I conducted field research on the Cleveland Independent School District, 40 miles northeast of Houston in Liberty County. From between 60,000 and 100,000 mostly immigrant families from earlier border surges settled there in an unincorporated community called Colony Ridge and sent their kids to CISD. Everyone I talked to, including the school superintendent, told me most are illegally present. Here's CISD's story in a nutshell. Enrollments tripled from 3,693 K-12 students and 4 main schools in 2012 to more than 12,000 in 2022. CISD is now 12 schools and 60 portable classrooms. Plans call for $1.2 billion, that's with the B, expansion, to 20 more schools over the next decade to accommodate a projected student body of 20,000. A decade ago, CISD was 40% Hispanic, now it's 90%. Here's some findings. The district has repeatedly asked voters to approve massive tax spiking bond elections, $85 million in 2017, $198 million in 2019, $150 million in 2021, $115 million in 2022, and it just goes on, they can't stop. The district has suffered declines in academic performance due to language barriers. Those with limited English proficiency spiked from 20% in 2012 to 55% in 2022. English as a second language curricula now makes up more than half of all curricula. The entire teaching staff is required to attain state ESL certification or an equivalent. Many new students were teenagers who couldn't read or write. Nearly half of Cleveland High School's students and 60% of Cleveland Middle School students were at risk of dropping out. Gangs and drug trafficking are problems. This is just one school district, maybe an extreme case, but scattered media reporting suggests it's emblematic. Many are struggling to protect students who are already there from degraded instruction and parents from tremendous new tax burdens across America. I'm happy to answer any questions about this impact or others described in my longer testimony on file. Thank you for your time.